So we're now going to shift topics slightly and talk more specifically about experimental design. Throughout the rest of the remaining weeks of the course, we will go into more depth on experimental design, but here's a broad overview of the three types of design. We have control, predictive, and descriptive, and that's in ascending order. So descriptive is basically a collection of observed events. So it's factual and based on observations. So we quantify and examine possible relationships between observed events. It's very indicative of a correlation, meaning we're identifying possibilities of relationships. It does not lead to a causative relationship. So in the example here that is given, this is a study that was done, but as you can see, there's no intervention implemented. It's just measurement. So the measurement here is basically signals a correlation, not a causative relationship. There's no manipulation of those observations. The next area that you can see here is predictive. So with predictive, it's repeated observations, and basically we want to see if two events consistently correlate with each other. So we repeat the observation, we repeat the experiment in order to see if we can predict if one event will occur based on the basis of another event. The example here, the main difference with this example versus the descriptive example is that there's an intervention implemented. So the correlation here is found between an independent and dependent variable, but we can't quite state a causation here because of we're missing the control part in that, which we'll go into now. So control is the third area of a experimental design. With control, we do prove that there's a functional relationship, so causation, causative relationships. So we implement changes between the dependent variable and the independent variable, and we try to see if that dependent variable can be reliably produced based on that independent variable. We also isolate those variables and reduce any extraneous influences. So as you can see here in the third example, that there is an intervention and there's a manipulation, and the dependent variable changes based on that independent variable. So it's a causation. So those are the three areas, a very broad overview, and we'll get much more in depth on that as the course goes on.